Today on Monkey Life. Could l'amour blossom in France for golden cheeks Mikado and Tia Nang as they arrive to start a new life together?
This is just beautiful. They're really calm, they're really relaxed. I couldn't have asked for a better start.
There are moves afoot at the Capuchins as Tau and Winslow swap groups.
It's going to take him a little bit of time to get used to the slower pace of life, but hopefully it'll be good for him in the long run.
And Pumpkin the spider monkey finds helping herself to a fruity treat is just plum easy. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
We've really done everything we can to make her journey as smooth as possible.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 20 different species. Following a long journey from Dorset to northwest France, Kat from Monkey World has arrived at Hsiao-Quai Animal Park. Her two charges, golden-cheeked gibbons Mikado and Tia Nang, are about to start a new life together here.
Bonjour, welcome here in France. Nice that you have come.
Animal director Jan Vermeer is on hand to greet her, keen to get a first look at the couple he hopes will become the French park's first ever breeding pair of golden cheeks. Set in nearly 300 acres, the centre has more than 1,500 animals from 100 different species. Mikado and Tia Nang will have a lot of new and interesting sounds and smells to get used to. This will be the first time the French park has ever cared for lesser apes, so a brand new purpose-built house, complete with an island surrounded by a moat, has been built for the pair to enjoy.
2 cages, so we can put one in one tonight, and the other one goes in that one. Food is already for them. Of course, they will not always get that much fruit, I know. No. But for today, I think they are tired. They need some energy.
Yep.
And
it's lovely. It's nice.
Yeah, you like it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Both gibbons seem calm despite such a long journey.
So I'm just speaking with Jan and making a plan for obviously unloading the guys and making sure that everything's safe and that the gibbons obviously are unloaded in a nice, safe manner.
It's a big day for the Hsiao-Quai care staff, and they're excited to see the new arrivals. Mikado will be first into his bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, buddy.
Hey.
He wastes no time. He's straight up and quick to check out his new surroundings. The young male gibbon has had a long journey and tucks into the fresh fruit on offer. It's a good sign.
You happy? We go get your lady friend for you, huh?
Yeah, then we get the female.
With Mikado settling in well, the team turn their attentions to Tia Nang. Despite the pair both living at Monkey World since they were babies, they were in separate families, so never met. It remains to be seen how well they'll get on. For the rest of today and tonight, they'll be able to see each other, but will be in separate bedrooms.
Tomorrow we'll meet them in here. They'll meet in these 2 rooms with the bedrooms, the slides opened up in the tunnels there, and they will go and say hello to each other and hopefully be best of friends. And Mikado seems to like his new stuff.
Mikado is settling in exceptionally well, but he's used to change. Tia Nang has never known anything other than life with her parents.
Oh, good girl.
Yeah.
She's happy to leave her travel box and shows very natural behaviour, staying up high where she can survey her surroundings. But so far, so good. The transfer has gone smoothly.
It's a huge day for them. I mean, Tia Nang, she's never been away from her family. You know, she's sat in that box all day. She's been as good as gold. She's been very quiet. She's came out the box. She's a little bit shy, but she's doing fine. She's really calm, really relaxed. Mikado was okay. He's eating now, and he's saying hello to all his new people and the new people that are around here. He's checking out the views, and he looks quite calm and happy.
Tonight, as Mikado and Tia Nang settle down, they'll have the opportunity to check each other out from the comfort of their individual bedrooms, ready for their big introduction later tomorrow. Back in Dorset, the park has 77 capuchin monkeys, split into 5 separate groups. Most came from a Chilean laboratory in 2008, but several have been rescued from the UK pet trade. Each of the 5 groups is led by a dominant male, and they all have their own unique style of leadership.
They all look the part, they all look very impressive. We noticed with all of them, as soon as they sort of took charge of their group, they bulked up, they just looked bigger, the faces and the cheeks filled out and the arms filled out. And they're all learning on the job, and although they are all very different in many ways, there's a lot of similarities between them and what they do.
Erico was the most disturbed of the Chilean monkeys when he arrived, but he now runs the Capuchin Lodge. Despite his previous life at the laboratory, he's a very intelligent monkey, one of the brightest at the park, and he's always up to mischief. The smallest group is led by Winslow. He's a happy chap, and the 4 flirty females he looks after totally adore him and pander to his every need. Then, at the bottom of the park is the Capuchin complex, split into 3 further groups. One is run by Franco, half-brother to Winslow, who he ousted to become leader. His job is probably the most challenging of all the 5 alpha males. The majority of his group are young adults. They're mostly boys, jockeying for a place in the hierarchy. On the other side of the fence is Sonny, who's always surrounded by females. What he lacks in intelligence, he makes up for in looks. He's a very impressive capuchin. And finally, there's Tau. He's a laid-back character who runs his group of 16 ladies with the help of sidekick Bruce. He has spinal deformities due to his past life, and in recent months, staff have noticed he's been struggling to move around the large enclosure and keep up with his girls. A medical checkup didn't reveal anything untoward, but despite medication, his mobility hasn't improved. So a decision's been made to move Tau to a smaller enclosure where he won't have to run around as much.
I might try and separate Winslow into bedroom 1, try and get the girls out.
Yeah.
And it's not just Tau on the move.
The main switch is we're moving Tau to a group that's smaller, and then he'll be replaced by Winslow, who'll be coming down to take over his group, who will also be joined from 2 males from Franco's group, just to thin it out a little bit in there and to help him head up that group a little bit.
It's a straight swap between Tau and Winslow, with a couple of additions. Elderly Capuchin male Archie will be joining Tau from Erico's group, and together they'll live with the 4 ladies already established in the smaller troop.
Come on then, Tau. Boy. You coming? Good boy. We've got Tau. He came in very well. He was very keen, really. Yeah, we'll just get him out of there and moved up to his new house.
Good morning. Boy.
At the opposite end of the park, Winslow has also been isolated and is ready to be transported. So far, the big Capuchin move is going smoothly, with all 5 now heading simultaneously to their new homes. The team will give them all a chance to settle before beginning introductions to their new housemates. The 4 chimpanzee groups at the park are well established, and although there are sometimes sudden departures, as well as unexpected arrivals, life is pretty good and settled for all of them. And nowhere more so than at Hananya's. There are 19 members of this group, 15 girls and 4 boys, all led by the dominant male. Hananya wasn't a natural leader, but has matured into the role as the years have gone by. And the other 3 males in this group, Simon, Shamak, and Arthur, have been with him every step of the way for more than 20 years.
They do have a kind of brotherhood together, and they've grown up together, and they've welcomed new members into the group together. They've seen members leave the group. So there is a big solidarity, I think, between the males in the group, particularly Hananya, Simon and Shamak Arthur is probably the lowest ranking male, and sometimes he does bear the brunt of Hananya's displays. So he's slightly out on a limb, but all of them do have a good relationship with each other, and you see positive behaviours between all kind of combinations of the males.
Shamak arrived at the park along with Hananya in 1996. Both were rescued from Israel, where they were smuggled for the illegal pet trade. He's one of the most intelligent individuals in the group, and as such can get easily bored if not challenged sufficiently.
If he's busy and he's having fun, he's great. But if there's not a lot going on, sometimes you can see he's looking for mischief then to amuse himself. So if we don't provide activities, he will find his own amusement, and that can often be by winding up some individuals in the group.
Simon is another intelligent chimp and quite political in going about his business. Since the death of Tico, Hananya's second-in-command, last year, there's been a void that needed filling.
I think certainly you would look at Simon as an individual that stepped into that gap. He's a very astute chimp. He's very sensitive and tuned in to the other animals, and he's hugely respectful of Hananya. I mean, that was one of the reasons why we all had him tipped to move into the second-in-command position.
The birth of Thelma 3 years ago had a positive impact on the whole group, and none more so than Arthur, the lowest ranking of the 4 boys.
Arthur's always been very taken with Thelma. In the early days when Thelma was very young, he had a bit of an overzealous approach, and Cherry was cautious. But now that Thelma's 3, he's allowed to play with her, to carry her, and that's given another dimension to life in Hananya's group for Arthur. I think the males in this group have a huge history together, and there's not one individual that you worry about. I think that relationship will continue, and there's no reason why these 4 males won't continue to happily coexist for the rest of their lives.
It's been a busy morning for the Capuchins. 5 of the boys are on the move in what's essentially a house swap. Winslow, along with 2 males from Franco's group, is moving into Tau's house. And Tau is heading in the opposite direction, taking over where Winslow left off, in charge of 4 ladies. He'll have additional help from a new friend, Archie.
Tau seems very calm and laid back. He's just looking around, getting used to his environment. Archie's still a bit worked up, so we're just going to give him a few minutes to calm down. He's had quite a stressful morning, and then we'll introduce a pair of them together.
Both males have mobility issues, and it's hoped that the smaller enclosure, along with fewer capuchins, will help with the physicality of their daily lives.
Archie and Tau are quite unique capuchins really here. Archie is one of our oldest males. He doesn't have proper use of his left arm. He always carries that. He has got some use in his fingers, and we do a bit of physio with him, get him using his wrist. But he copes really well with that. Hopefully his condition will improve. He is one of our oldest males. He's estimated to be about 31 years old. He is quite an old man, whereas Tau is a lot younger, although physically he is older than he looks. We think Tau is only sort of 12, 13 years old, so he's not really an old man. But again, we're hoping by not having such a big area and so much pressure on him socially, that physically he will improve as well, and that the pair of them can sort of get on just fine in here.
To help the introductions run smoothly, the 4 females, Ginger, Sophia, Maddie and Maggie, have been kept outside while Archie and Tau get used to their new surroundings. It doesn't take long, and Toby's soon happy the pair are calm enough to meet. So the slide separating the 2 bedrooms is opened. It's a standoff, as both Tau and Archie posture in front of each other. Both seem a bit nervous, but it's Archie who makes the first move. so far, so good. Although there's been a lot of vocalizations, there's been no negative physical contact, which is a good sign. And it's not long before Tau decides it's time to explore, and he's quite happy for Archie to tag along.
Tau is just sort of trying to get used to his new surroundings. He's used to a very busy life as sort of the alpha male of a big group. So it's going to take him a little bit of time to get used to the slower pace of life, but hopefully it'll be good for him in the long run.
The next big step for the boys will be to meet their 4 girls, but that's for another day. For now, the two just need to establish their relationship, and for Archie to realise Tau is the one in charge. Over at the spider monkey enclosure, Donna from the primate care team is busy putting out basketballs suspended by rope. She's going to fill each one with fresh plums. A form of enrichment she hopes will make the 3 members of this group work for their food.
We've got our female Pumpkin and our 2 boys, Flint and Hickory. They get on pretty well for the most part. Pumpkin, the female, is the dominant one, so we'll probably find her come out first and monopolise a lot of the food, but hopefully after that the 2 boys will join her too.
Spider monkeys have a prehensile tail, basically a 5th limb they use in the wild to get about the treetops. It helps them reach fruit hanging underneath branches that can be difficult for other animals to get to. By hanging the food up in the enclosure, Donna is trying to encourage these natural behaviours. And it's Pumpkin who's straight in and first to the balls. She's an 18-year-old female who loves her food. Her trills indicate how happy she is. The oldest is Hickory, at 25 years of age. All 3 came to the park from a private collection in Somerset in 2012. Notoriously highly strung primates, they originate from the tropical forest of Central and South America. Their disproportionately large limbs give rise to their common name. Their diet is primarily fruit, but they'll also consume leaves, flowers, and insects. And they seem to be making short work of the plums on offer today. Reaching out with their long limbs makes grabbing the fruit so much easier. Although it does seem to be Pumpkin snaffling the most. Hickory's managed to snatch one of the juicy plums, and when Flint wanders over to have a look, he quickly departs to eat it in peace. With Pumpkin determined to exhaust the supply of plums by herself, Flint needs something to keep him occupied, and that happens to be one of the tiny cameras pointing his way. It's early morning at the Hsiao-Quai Animal Park in France, and animal director Jan and Kat from Monkey World are preparing breakfast for 2 new arrivals. Following an 11-hour journey from Dorset, golden-cheeked gibbons Mikado and Tia Nang have spent their first night in separate bedrooms in their new house. They're about to start a new life together in France, living alongside 1,500 other animals from 100 different species, so it's quite a big change. They never actually met at Monkey World, so today the pair are going to be introduced for the very first time. Jan and Kat prepare a welcome breakfast of fruit and veg before popping in to see how the pair coped on their first night. And by the sound of it, everything seems to be going well.
I like the noises of gibbons, and people can wake up in the morning and hear the gibbons singing. There's nothing better than hearing in the morning gibbons singing. It brings life to a park if you have gibbons in your park.
Kat is keen for the 2 to meet as soon as possible, and if the signs are good, today will be the day. Mikado and Tia Nang seem relaxed and happy after a good night's sleep and enjoy their breakfast. So the decision is made, and the slide between the bedrooms is opened. Mikado dashes straight in to meet Tia Nang. She's receptive, climbing up to smell and groom her prospective new mate. It's early days, but Kat is delighted.
That is amazing. I'm really, really happy. I feel quite emotional actually, because I always think the worst thing, and this is just beautiful. They're really calm, they're really relaxed. I couldn't have asked for a better start. 5 minutes in and she's hugging him. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
They behave perfectly the way we would like to have them to behave. So especially Tia Nang, the female, is looking for contact with the male, very friendly, sniffing him, touching him a little bit. It's going perfect.
The gibbons' new home includes a house and an island surrounded by a moat. But before they get to explore the outside, Jan wants the pair to get to know each other inside.
It's important that they feel that this house is part of their territory, that this is a safe place where they can come back every evening. Normally they can stay outside if they want, but we prefer that they come inside so that you have a better control of the animals, and if there would be bad weather, that you can be sure that they will come inside.
The following morning, Kat checks in on the pair one final time to say her goodbyes. Golden-cheeked gibbons often pair for life, and it's hoped Mikado and Tia Nang will become a devoted couple and one day have a family of their own. This will take time, so for now, it's just lovely for everyone to see them content in each other's company.
They're really happy, they're comfortable, they're moving around really well together. They've had breakfast, which they're sharing, they're allowing each other to have. Jan's been in and given them everything and taking really good care of them. So at this point, I'm really happy that the guys are in a wonderful place. They are going to be happy together. Now I just have to walk away, which is the hardest bit to do.
So it's au revoir to Mikado and Tia Nang as Kat leaves the pair to begin their exciting new life together. Today on Monkey Life. It's musical chairs at the Orangs as Roro heads to the nursery.
Hello.
While Hsiao-Quai and Awan head in the opposite direction.
Hey, good girl.
Plus, lonely lemur Al meets a new playmate.
He's reacted in the right way. He's done this little kind of cackling noise, which is a submissive noise, so he's doing the right things.
And flirty Capuchin Phoenix convinces dominant male Erico she only has eyes for him. But it's his watermelon she's really after. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Nothing's ever straightforward on these.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 20 different species. It's been a bit of a game of musical chairs for the park's orangutans recently, and today some of the females are on the move again. A few weeks ago, Lucky moved to join the group led by alpha male Tuan because she was struggling to get along with the feisty females at Gordon's enclosure. The move has worked well for Lucky, but her arrival has left poor Roro feeling pushed out. Now the team have decided to move her to the nursery. She has a playful personality, and they hope she'll fit in.
Roro's always been quite a special character, really. She's always struggled in certain social situations. She's never been a dominant character, and she's never been in the nursery with the little ones. She has played with babies before over the years, So we're hoping that she'll get on in there and make a nice group for Bulu and Rika to grow up in with someone to look up to.
To make room for Roro in the nursery, Hsiao-Quai and her adoptive daughter Awan are going to live in Tuan's group. Moving large primates requires a lot of planning.
Hey.
For the last few weeks, Jarno has been giving Hsiao-Quai and Awan crate training sessions.
Hey. You are good. Lips. Properly. Good.
The training means when they actually make the move, they won't need an anaesthetic, far less stressful and safer for everyone. On the day of the move, Hsiao-Quai and Awan are separated from the rest of their group, and it's time to see if the training has paid off.
Hey.
Hey, Mama.
Good girl.
James opens the slide connecting the bedrooms to the outside tunnels, and Hsiao-Quai is straight out. Awan soon follows.
Come here, Mama.
Jarno persuades Hsiao-Quai into the crate very quickly, encouraging Awan to go in at the same time. Once the crate's closed, they're ready to go.
Here, Awan. Awan. Good girl.
Let's go on top.
Calm down a bit. Here, Libby. Here. Okay, James is clear. Hsiao-Quai.
All in.
Yeah, it's going really, really well. And Awan quite confident because of Hsiao-Quai make her confidence as well. I think we're just ready to go to move the house now. Say goodbye to nursery for now, are we?
Moving such a large and heavy crate from one enclosure to another requires specialist equipment. But the team still needs to move it the final few meters to get it into position.
Just agree, yeah? Yeah, lock it up.
That's good, yeah, that's good, June.
It's heavy going, but the team work as quickly as they can, so Hsiao-Quai and Awan spend as little time as necessary in the crate. As soon as the door opens, confident Hsiao-Quai, with little Awan clinging on, wastes no time. She's straight through the tunnel and into their new home. And Tuan and Ame are there to greet them from a separate bedroom.
All good, yeah. Awan separated off with Hsiao-Quai as soon as she got in there, so she's obviously feeling more confident than maybe we thought. So yeah, it all seems quite well. Obviously they've got to meet them all yet, but we'll see.
For now, the team will let the pair settle and get used to the sights and smells of their new surroundings. One half of today's move is complete. Next, it's Roro's turn, and the team are hoping that goes just as smoothly.
Come on, darling.
A little over a week ago, Alison agreed to take in an abandoned ring-tailed lemur. The traumatised male had been discovered at a house in Somerset by the RSPCA, who brought him to the park. He'd been without food for days, and his lemur companion had died. The team have now decided to name him Al. When he reached the park, Al was frightened and in shock, and the team are doing their best to help him recover. But sadly, Al is still not feeling at home, and the team are concerned.
He seems very wary, quite nervous, a bit stressed. He's pacing a bit, which is a stereotypic behaviour. So yeah, we're not overly happy with the way he's doing. He's not eating very much. He's taking bits, but not a huge amount of food, not what we would expect him to be taking.
Karen thinks Al needs some company. So today, the team are going to bring Kaya, a female from the lemur forest at Malagasy, to meet him.
We just really want him to be comfortable here in his new surroundings, and we feel that having a friend will help him feel a lot more comfortable with life at the moment. And then even when we do bring him up to Malagasy, hopefully with having Kaya as a friend already, it will help him a little bit when he meets the rest of the troop. Hey, Kaya. The plan is to put some food in a crate, open the door and hope she walks in. That's our plan. You never know. She might do it. She's quite often led by her stomach, so that's what we're hoping for. Right, so do you want to just open it up and see what she does?
Apparently she does that.
There you go, see? That is how you catch a lemur. Can you put your tail in?
I think that might be a record.
There we go, clever girl. Perfect lemur.
Females are dominant in lemur society. When introducing Kaya to Al, she's the one who should take charge, but no one knows how Al will react. Kaya also came from the pet trade, but she's a super confident lemur, and the team are hoping some of this will rub off on Al. Al will eventually be introduced to the whole group at Malagasy, but starting slowly may help him settle into his new life. The two lemurs have already made some contact calls to each other. Now, as soon as she's out of the box, Kaya heads over to get a closer look at Al. Both seem fairly calm, so Karen and Steph decide to let them meet face to face. It's a good start. The two lemurs are relaxed, and Al seems quite happy having another lemur for company. He follows Kaya around without demonstrating any aggression. Al begins scent marking his territory, but Kaya lets him know that she's boss by immediately leaving her mark too. She's a female, and therefore she's the one in charge.
He's reacted in the right way. He's done this little kind of cackling noise, which is a submissive noise, so he's doing the right things. So I do think he wants to be her friend, but I think it will just take a little bit of time for him to get a bit braver and her to just go, okay, now he knows that I'm the boss, and just to settle down a bit. She is a feisty character, so she will push him a little bit, but I think as long as he stays submissive, which he should do, then it shouldn't be a problem. Oh, I know what you heard. You want a treat? Yeah, you can have one. Got it? All I want is for him to be calm and, well, happy, if you can say the word happy. I know you can never know, but I just want him to not be nervous and not be scared. And when you get, Malagasy is one of the most beautiful enclosures here at Monkey World, and when the lemurs are accepted and they get Malagasy, it's a joy. It's one of the best places, and they have so much freedom up there, and to be in high trees where they should be is such a nice thing to watch. It'll take time to get him into the troop, but his future looks amazing if we get him in.
Of all the chimpanzee groups in the park, by far the smallest is Sally's. There are just 5 members, the 2 youngest, 12-year-old Rodders, and his adopted sister Ash, the ever-impressive Brian, now 14, and finally the 2 older females, 25-year-old Lulu, and the matriarch of the group, Sally, who the care team think is probably about 28. Today, Animal Director Jeremy Keeling is going to give them a lunchtime treat, fresh corn on the cob, harvested directly from a local farm. Jeremy has a great affinity with this group. He's seen them all arrive, grow up, and become a contented and happy family.
Sally had the nursery group basically because she couldn't hack it in any other group. I mean, she could not. She was the original women's libber, and in chimpanzee life, you know, if you don't do it my way, I'll thump you. You know, she couldn't get her head around that at all, and I don't think she ever could now. But that's why we use Sally as the role model for the babies.
Ash and Rodders were two of Sally's surrogate mum's successes. Both were born at the park as a result of birth control accidents, but rejected by their mums. As tiny infants, they were hand-reared by the care team, but then Sally took over their upbringing.
Rodders and Ash are still terribly close, but they're not joined at the hip anymore. They like to be together, but if the other guy isn't there, we'll get over it. They, not as dependent on the relationship as they were.
All the chimpanzee groups at the park have their fun characters, and the cheeky chappy of this family is Rodders.
He's just a silly boy, and that's fine, we like silly boys. He really, really, really looks up to Brian, and he's happy to do that. He's his big brother sort of thing, and there's no conflict of who's where in that pecking order. And Brian is the most laid-back person in the world, so he doesn't capitalise on it.
Brian has come a long way since being rescued from Mexico, where he was being groomed to be used as a beach photographer's prop. He's developed into a truly impressive chimp, who likes nothing better than displaying it to everyone. Helping Sally keep the youngsters in check is Lulu.
Lulu's actually a lot less bitter than she used to be. She used to have a real chip on her shoulder about her life, generally. She's a lot more laid back and mellow, yeah.
It remains to be seen how this group evolves, but one thing's for certain, they'll always be Sally's family. At the Capuchin Lodge, the little monkeys are in for a treat. A local supermarket has donated a large supply of watermelons, which is already causing huge excitement within the group. The Capuchins do have watermelon occasionally as part of their diet, but never in such large pieces, so it'll be quite a novelty for them. With the gibbons singing in the background, primate carekeeper Jill is placing them around the enclosure, either whole or cut in half.
We're putting out whole ones to get them to work a little bit harder for their food. Normally in the wild, they will use stones to crack open nuts and seeds and things like that. So we're trying to encourage that behaviour of them raising an item that's fairly heavy, lifting it up and smacking it down, hopefully to crack open the melon, and encouraging their core strength as well. So this is for their physical well-being as well as their mental stimulation as well.
Caesar and Phoebe are let out first. In this group of 15, they are the only two rescued from the British pet trade. The rest of the group all came from the same Chilean laboratory back in 2008. Caesar is determined to make the most of the head start given to him. He's straight over to one of the whole large watermelons, rolling it onto the ground. But picking it up to smash is the difficult bit. After a couple of aborted attempts, he moves on to easier pickings. Phoebe has also taken the easy option of the half melon. Both can be nervous individuals and wary of others around them, so try and eat as much as they can before the more dominant capuchins are let out. And here come the rest of the group, led by dominant male Erico. He's a big, strong capuchin and highly intelligent. He wastes no time in working out how to open a large watermelon. Marlowe pounces on a half melon precariously positioned on a tree stump. While second in command Sean dives straight in. It seems that most of the boys have snaffled all the tasty melons, while the females like Scarlet and Binti are left to nibble on oat balls. Clever female Phoenix, however, has a sneaky plan. She flirts outrageously with Erico while secretly eyeing up the scraps of his watermelon. And, when he's not looking, she deftly helps herself. Zoe has a different approach. She hangs around high up in a tree where she can easily spot any leftovers. And once the coast is clear, she quickly moves in. Erico is showing the others how it should be done, mimicking wild capuchin behaviour by smashing the fruit on a hard surface and breaking it into smaller, more edible pieces. He might be a clever chap, but he still hasn't cottoned on to Phoenix. Those aren't admiring looks, Erico. She's just after your melon. And she gets away with it. With the last of the watermelon almost gone, the next best options are foraging for worms and bugs, or soaking up the sun on one of the platforms. Leader Erico has had a busy morning and is heading inside for a bit of R&R. But perhaps Phoenix has something else in mind. Back at Tuan's house, as 2 orangutans arrive, it's time for one to leave. Hsiao-Quai and 4-year-old Awan have already successfully moved from the nursery, and now it's Roro's turn to head in the opposite direction. It'll be her first experience of living with the youngsters.
I'll let her through now.
And luckily for the team, persuading Roro from the tunnel into the travelling crate goes smoothly. The maintenance staff are on hand to help transport her quickly over to the orangutan nursery. Once there, the crate is safely secured to the outside tunnel so Roro can be let out. And she doesn't even hesitate.
Finger Ravid.
Hello. Hi.
There's no sign of nerves as Roro heads straight into the nursery bedrooms. There are 5 orangutans already in this house, 4 youngsters plus older female Oisin. Meeting Oisin will be left for another day, as a female-to-female introduction is much more unpredictable. But the team are really keen for her to meet the 2 male juveniles.
We're going to put Jean in with Roro first and judge the reaction. Hopefully they'll get on okay. It might be a bit of rough and tumble for a bit. And if all goes well, then we're going to put Sylvester into the mix. And hopefully it'll go better that way round. We'll see how it goes.
Everybody ready?
Yeah.
But faced with a friendly and persistent adolescent, Roro doesn't want to know. Jin is used to attention and perseveres. He's looking for a new playmate, or perhaps a partner, and he just won't leave her alone. But Roro deals with it impeccably. She keeps her cool and ignores him until he finally gets the message. But the signs are positive. Roro has been really patient when she could have easily become irritated and lashed out. Next, it's time for Sylvester to meet the new girl. And he's not impressed his pal Jin is paying so much attention to someone else. He hits out at Roro, but she takes it all in her stride.
Roro's actually coping with it quite well. She's not making any sort of dismissive noises or anything like that towards them. She's having to put up with quite a lot of energy going on with them. So to be fair, yeah, she's coping excellently with it at the moment.
A bit more getting to know you time, and Roro has had enough of Jin's fun and games and pushes him away. But he just can't get enough of his new housemate. Today on Monkey Life, sadness as one of the park's most iconic characters passes away.
Paddy's gone. His loss is going to be felt right the way around the park.
But happy memories of a much-loved primate.
Paddy was dignified from the moment I saw him till the moment he died. You know, I think people could learn an awful lot from Paddy.
And puzzle solving in the trees for golden-cheeked gibbons Kim and Tien. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
They're all going to have a chance to live proper lives again. Perfect.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 20 different species. It's been a traumatic start to the day at the park, leaving everyone feeling a sense of shock and loss. And nowhere more so than at the chimp enclosures. There's usually a lot of noisy excitement as they head outside in the morning, but today they're quiet and subdued. Overnight, Paddy, the longtime leader of his group, died in his sleep. For park director Alison, it feels like the end of an era.
Probably one of the most serious things for one of our chimp group has indeed happened, and Paddy's gone. He died of natural causes, and I do know, because I have had the initial reports back, it was heart failure, not a heart attack or anything like that. Then it was Paddy's time. He was an older boy, probably the best leader we've ever had here at the park, and his loss is going to be felt right the way around the park.
Paddy was a very special and unusual chimp. He was one of the original group of 9 rescued primates to arrive at the park in 1987 and was their leader from the start. His reign has lasted ever since, nearly 30 years. Many of those original chimps remained with him in the same group. They were all rescued from abysmal lives as Spanish beach photographers' props, having been stolen from the wild. Chimps like Paddy were the reason Alison's late husband Jim Cronin set up the park in the first place.
Paddy's one of the founders of Monkey World. I've got lovely photographs of him as a youngster arriving here, and Jim and Jeremy looking after them. And he went on to just be a very kind-hearted, good, caring person, which is, of course, all of the characteristics you need to be a dominant male to make friends, influence the ladies, and of course, he was big, beautiful, and gorgeous, and that set him up to be the leader of his group. And I hazard to say, and it's not many people or chimps you can say that about, everybody loved Paddy.
Jeremy, who worked alongside Jim when the park first opened, remembers Paddy from day one.
My lasting sort of impression of Paddy was he was the one who really didn't want to know. It was, I believe it was between I probably wrote it in a diary. In fact, I must have written it in a diary. It was between 18 months and 2 years before Paddy actually let me touch him, have any contact with him at all. He was very aloof. Nothing horrible. He didn't try to kill me. He didn't want me dead. You know, yeah, you're right. Stay there. No, stay there. We're good. There was no animosity, nothing unpleasant. He just didn't need. Very, very self-contained individual.
Paddy was the largest of the first arrivals and took charge early on. Jeremy admired him from the very beginning.
He was a fantastic leader, in my opinion, because he didn't get involved in trivia. If anything really needed sorting out, he was in there. And he'd sort it. But general people being horrible to him, he wouldn't get involved unless he really needed to, which is, for a chimp, that's pretty remarkable because they're so volatile. They don't need an excuse to flare up and have a go at people. They do it anyway. Whereas Paddy would never do that. He always very much in charge. Nobody would contest his authority, but he did it by persona, he did it by just being there. He didn't have to do anything else. And that really, was, you know, was very, very nice. You know, I think people could learn an awful lot from Paddy.
He recalls the day Paddy and his pals first arrived.
Lorry full of boxes of chimps arrived, and we had the house set up ready, so you know, we let them all out, they were fine, give them something to eat, whatever. And then in the morning, got this pile of boxes there. Oh, they've got the names on the boxes. Now, which one's which? I don't know. I got sort of enough information to put together. Who are you? Well, there's only 3 females, and one's only got half a foot, so that must be Beth. One's obviously bigger than the rest, so that must be Cindy. And then the little girl has got to be Zoe, because she's a little girl. And Paddy's got to be Paddy, because he's a big, you know, he's obviously the big male. He's obviously, you know, a little bit older than anybody else, and, you know, he radiated being in charge, so yeah. And the rest were just monkeys.
And throughout his time at the park, 37-year-old Paddy never changed, despite the stresses leadership of a big group can bring. The other chimps looked up to him as a leader and a friend, and his position was never challenged.
He was consistent. You never saw Paddy in a bad, or very rarely would you see Paddy in a bad mood. You'd see him in soppy moods occasionally, but you'd never see him really angry, because he didn't get involved enough. He'd say, right, bye-bye. You don't do angry. Cheerio.
Paddy's family benefited hugely from his calm leadership, and over the years remained settled and happy. The care team recognised Paddy was responsible for the group's harmony and success.
Paddy was a real special animal, a magnificent male, a fabulous leader. He was extremely fair, extremely kind, and had the ability to settle any disputes. The stability of Paddy's community was testament to him, really, and how secure he was in his role, and what a good job he'd done.
But it wasn't just the staff at the park who came to know what a special chimp Paddy was.
To the visitors, I'm sure, you know, Paddy was an iconic character. He was, you could pick him out of a crowd because he was so physically magnificent. But obviously to the primate care staff, he was also an animal that we were extremely attached to and that we enjoyed watching over the years running his community.
And the much-loved chimp left behind a legacy.
As the years passed, we decided that perhaps we would let 1 or 2 babies come into this group because it's important for their culture and society, and it brings the group together. And even then, that many years later, so Paddy's been an orphan, been smuggled out of Africa into Spain, come to monkey world as a youngster, grown up, become alpha male, in charge of his group. Then for the first time, he becomes a father, and guess what? He's brilliant at that too. Absolutely fabulous, and looked after his firstborn, Hebe, just brilliantly.
Paddy later also fathered Eddie and Bart.
They've sort of had a good, stable upbringing, and they had their dad who was brilliant and used to carry them on his back. So it's hard to say who's worse affected by Paddy's passing. His band of adult females who are thinking, where's our man and our leader? Or the youngsters who relied upon their dad for safety, protection, comfort, and love.
Although devastated by Paddy's loss, Alison and the team are thankful that after a terrible start in life, he was able to live out his years in a safe and caring environment.
He was the leader of the community and the individual that the animals looked up to. He was an individual that other chimps went to for reassurance. They went to if they were upset. You know, he was obviously a friend, he was a father, you know, so he played so many roles and he did each one, you know, with such grace. So yeah, a really special character.
I think the one word which totally encompasses Paddy is dignified. Paddy was dignified from the moment I saw him till the moment he died. And that'll cover it, nothing else. Don't get wordy or clever about it. He was just very dignified, and I loved him for it.
Paddy represents an awful lot of what we do here at the park, and he'll be greatly missed.
The team constantly evaluate the quality of life of all the primates in their care. It's not simply about their health and diet, but also their relationships with other animals sharing their lives. Sometimes it becomes clear a move to another group might be for the best. In the past few weeks, there's been lots of comings and goings at the orangutans. Female Roro made a move from the relative calm of Tuan's house to the hustle and bustle of the nursery group and its boisterous youngsters, while Hsiao-Quai and adopted daughter Awan moved across to join Tuan. Roro's life in the nursery started with an introduction to the two eldest boys, Sylvester and Jin. Jin was so excited to meet a new female, he barely let Roro out of his sight. Next, it was time to meet the babies of the group, Bulu Mata and Rika. It went well, although the two little ones were initially a little wary of Roro, but were very curious when she started doing a spot of housekeeping. Roro clearly has high standards. She wasted no time giving the place a good old scrub and making sure everything was how she liked it.
Roro spent last night with Bulu and Rika and Sylvester, so that's really kind of solidified things with the babies, and they seem really relaxed this morning in her presence, which is great, so good progress there. So this morning we're going to introduce her to Oisin. We'll keep Sylvester and probably Jin in the mix just to dilute things a little bit, but we've put the babies into the playroom just so that we can gauge initially how things are going to go between Roro and Oisin, with a view to then opening up later on if all goes well.
Meeting fellow female Oisin could be the trickiest part of the whole move for Roro. Oisin is a strong, stubborn female who's not keen on change, and she might take against a new adult female. But Kara is optimistic.
Oisin kind of is happy to do her own thing, so hopefully you know, she'll stay out of Roro's way, and Roro's having such a better time than she was in the group that she was in prior to moving her over to the nursery. But we'll have to see how things go and whether one of the females emerges as the dominant individual. My money would probably be on Roro for that, and just how that dynamic will work. Fingers crossed, because this could be a really nice group for the youngsters with two very different characters that the babies can benefit from as they grow up.
Oisin is on her guard as Roro enters the room. She's understandably wary of the new female, but shows no sign of aggression. The fact that Jin is sticking to Roro like glue might be helping. Roro seems totally relaxed in her new surroundings and gives Oisin plenty of space. All very positive so far. And Oisin seems happy, especially as Sylvester is giving her some welcome attention. With the group introductions going so well, the team's next move is to encourage all the orangs to go outside. The additional space, climbing frames and hoses might encourage more play and integration. Even little Bulu and Rika decide to venture out for a bit of fun, and soon all the group gets stuck in. Sylvester has finally managed to convince his playmate Jin to stop pursuing Roro and join him in a rough and tumble session. Meanwhile, Bulu has summoned up the courage to play with newcomer Roro, and he's not shy about it. It's great news that Roro appears to have been accepted into the group. It's mainly down to her own clever reading of the situation and her perfect handling of her new housemates. Even Oisin seems quite content, although, true to form, she's never happier than when there's food in the mix. It's been a few days since the park's two new arrivals from Belgium, stump-tailed macaques Freddy and Toto, were introduced to some of their new housemates. Initially, the two boys had only visual and vocal interactions with the 8 other resident stumpies. But then the team put them together with half of the group, including dominant male Sam and dominant female Kelly. There were a few feisty moments at first, but things settled down. Today, the two Belgian Stumpies are about to meet the final two members, Jonathan and Maureen.
To be honest, this is the one we were least looking forward to. Of all the grumpy monkeys, Jonathan is, I love him to bits, but he is the most grumpy in the world. And he has got a tendency not to let things go. So if he gets into a squabble, he'll keep digging and pushing, and rather than sort of backing off. So yeah, bit nervous about Jonathan. And then Maureen's quite a low-ranking female, but she's also got a reputation for being a bit stroppy.
Go, go, go. But I would do them one at a time because that is easy enough to control.
The team are going to let Jonathan in first, so if things do get out of hand, they can police the situation more easily.
Yeah, John's in the tunnel. Gonna let him through now.
At first, Jonathan is wary, particularly with Freddie staying below. Instead, he heads over to greet Sam. They've been the only two boys in the group for a couple of years now, so after a few days apart, it's good to cement bonds. Toto and Freddie watch on, but continue to stick together, although Toto is nervously lip-smacking. With Sam now around to back him up, Jonathan heads over to confront the two newbies. It's typical Stumpy behaviour, with the males making lots of noise and a show of bravado, before females Kelly and then Noreen come over to add their weight.
Boys are having a thing right now.
It's gone quiet. It's a shame that they are mixing a bit more, but that was round one, and we've got a few more rounds to go, I think.
Things are calm enough for the last of the group, low-ranker Maureen, to be introduced. But she doesn't attract that much attention, and most of the group decide to head outside into the enclosure, with the two new boys sticking to each other like glue.
It's been really important for them that they've managed to forge kind of a bit of an alliance, a bit of a bond. Had Toto been completely on his own, he would have felt completely outnumbered, and it's a lot harder for our guys to gang up on Toto when he's got Fred there, kind of backing him up. And Toto hasn't got much in the way of good teeth. No, neither has Sam, neither has John. Whereas Freddie has a good set of teeth, so he's a useful ally to have. Freddie's the one with the...
But all that changes when female Flo barrels in from out of nowhere.
Fred could do with coming back, really.
With Freddie elsewhere in the enclosure, Sam, Jonathan and Flo gang up on Toto.
Fred could do with coming helping.
With Toto seriously outnumbered, the team decide enough is enough and take action. The situation calms down and the group begin to disperse. Some, like Jonathan, to lick their wounds. The initial introductions are over, and the result isn't a huge surprise for the care team. A bit of a scrap was to be expected, and fairly typical Stumpy behaviour. But in future, it's hoped that this group of 10 will settle down, and although they might not become best of friends, will get along well enough to live together. Two primates who are definitely the best of friends are golden-cheeked gibbons Kim and Tien. Both were born at the park, raised by their families, and had a fantastic start to life. When they were nearing sexual maturity, the team paired them together. 4 years later, they're inseparable. Today, primate care staff member Kat is trying to keep the happy pair busy, exercising their brains as well as their bodies by giving them a newly designed puzzle feeder to crack.
It's quite a simple design. So literally, we put the pole in the bottom, put a food item into there, and then put another pole above. So basically what they have to do is just pull the pole out, The food will then fall down and catch into the basket, and they'll be able to get it whilst they're high up in the tree. So they're naturally working at their food up high where they want to be, so they've got to really be quite agile, holding on, using lots of their different skills and using their brains to try and work out how to get this food out.
Kat thinks she has a pretty good idea of who will solve this monkey puzzle.
Kim's a bit of a bull in a china shop, so I think Tien's more likely to have the patience to sit down and work it out, maybe make a few different attempts. He does tend to really sort of puzzle things through a little bit more than Kim does, so hopefully one of them will work it out, and you never know, she might surprise us.
At first, confronted with the new feeder, Tien is left scratching his head. Kim, however, moves straight in. But, ignoring the challenge, she reaches for the easier pickings Kat has left in their usual feeder. Tien has studied the puzzle long and hard. He's going to give it a go. And he wastes no time in removing some of the plastic tubes. Before reaching in and grabbing his prize, a fresh and juicy slice of melon. He soon devours it and then cleverly solves the final piece of the puzzle. Both gibbons are quite content as they polish off the food on offer, before doing what they do best, swinging on the ropes and through the trees of their magnificent enclosure. Today on Monkey Life, new lemur Al gets the once-over from the vet.
Left arm all fine.
And it seems he's younger than first thought.
Those don't even look like old teeth.
They're not old teeth. No, he doesn't look old.
The bachelor boy golden-cheeked gibbons try out their new home for the first time.
You can gradually see them starting to get a lot more relaxed and comfortable with it, so I think they're going to have a lot of fun over the next few days.
And young Orang-utan Awan makes a new friend as Tuan shows he's a gentle giant. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Smells a bit macaque in there, but yeah, we're good.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 20 different species. Today, ring-tailed lemur Al is going to have a thorough health check at the park's animal hospital. He arrived 2 weeks ago after being rescued from a house in Somerset by the RSPCA. He'd been without food for days, and his lemur companion had died. Al was traumatised, and vet Sue Thornton has now been called in to check him over. A vet check, including blood samples and x-rays, will reveal a lot of useful information, including any previous or existing injuries or health conditions which might impact on the park's other resident lemurs. And it can give an indication of an animal's age.
This vet check is probably one of the most important we do when we have new animals in that we don't know anything about their background, because often there are hidden concerns and worries that you can't tell from the animal just externally. So all of these things remain to be seen, and hopefully we'll find out the answers to all of that today.
The team have very little background knowledge about Al, so giving him an anaesthetic is too risky. Instead, he'll have gas and air through a mask, a far safer form of sedation for small primates.
We're using safe anaesthetic procedures, and of course we've got very experienced staff here, so it should be as minimal a risk as possible, but it's the only way to make absolutely certain we sort out anything that's going on with the animal over the next months or so.
Jeremy and Kate bring Al in, but Al isn't keen to leave his crate. The team know he has one obvious old injury, a misshapen tail, which is almost certainly broken. As soon as the gas takes effect, Sue wastes no time checking him over.
Left hand, left arm, all fine. He's got all his digits on his left hind. He's in good body condition, I'd say. He's got nice teeth, apart from he's missing most of his upper incisors. All right, matey.
So those don't even look like old teeth.
They're not old
necessarily.
teeth. No, he doesn't look old.
Al is younger than first thought. Sue estimates he's less than 10 years old.
OK, well, let's get him microchipped. That's it. OK. We need to weigh him and get an X-ray on that. Just see what's going on with that. 2.78.
Sue is keen to X-ray Al's broken tail. She needs to be sure there are no hidden problems causing him pain or discomfort.
He's obviously got an old break on his tail, and it might cause him problems in the long-term future, but for the moment we wouldn't do anything about it. It's perfectly stable, so he's not in any discomfort, I don't think, from that. Do you want to just take that and stick that in there, and I think we'll just wake him up.
He's waking up.
Yeah,
I don't think we have to do much.
OK.
It doesn't take Al long to come round, and the team work quickly to get him safely back in his crate. The health check has gone well, and the future for Al is looking more positive. But now Steph is taking him back to his bedroom so he can recover from the sedation and later rejoin his friend Kaya. Soon, the team will be able to begin introducing him to some of the park's other lemurs, and he can make more new friends. While Al and Kaya spend time together, the rest of the lemur gang at Malagasy are having a special delicacy delivered by Sharon from the primate care team. Tamarind fruits, which grow abundantly in their native home of Madagascar. To make it more interesting, she's inserted the treat into ropes, which she's hanging around their forest enclosure to encourage natural climbing and foraging behaviour.
Tamarind's actually one of their favourite foods in the wild. Some of them may have had it, but quite a long time ago. Two of our sort of newer arrivals, Kurt and Friedrich, they've been with us for a couple of years. We don't think they've ever had them before. They're certainly more enthusiastic when it comes to enrichment, and they do put a lot more effort into it, so hopefully they'll be the first ones to go in and get cracking in the shells.
The lemurs are impatient to see what's on offer.
They're very keen. We're hoping it's a bit of a challenge for them. The lemurs can be a little bit lazy sometimes. If it's not quite obvious to them how to obtain the food, they'll just walk away and give up. So we're always trying to figure out new ways to sort of get them interested.
Can I have that? This is tug of war now, is it, guys?
The older members of the group seem to know what the fruits are and set about tucking in. Youngsters Friedrich and Kurt soon get involved as well. Dominant female Fennel absolutely loves this fruit. In their native Madagascar, tamarinds are a keystone food for the ring-tailed lemurs. The country's prone to long periods of drought, and the pod-like fruit are sometimes their only source of food or liquid, making them quite literally a lifesaver. The lemurs have to use a range of techniques to get to the tasty fruits, stretching up, swinging, and balancing on moving ropes. Their beautiful long tails are often used for communication, but today they're showing off just how important they are for balance too. It's a good physical and mental workout for the lemur troop, working muscles they don't use every day and it's especially beneficial for the oldies. Renton has spotted one last remaining tamarind in a basket, but when he makes a grab for it, it falls to the other side. So he gives up. Sirius, who's a little more agile, reaches down and takes the prize. Hard luck, Renton. Al and Kaya might be missing out on all the fun today, but soon Al will be able to meet all these new companions and explore this beautiful and exciting forest home. The past few months have seen a lot of changes for the park's golden-cheeked gibbon families. The youngsters, now grown up, have been paired together to form new groups. For Mikado and Tia Nang, it's been a life-changing event. The couple now live in a brand new purpose-built home in France. And here, in a first for the park, two young male adults, Zach and Tio, have been introduced and gone on to form a bachelor gibbon group. They too have a new home. In the last few weeks, their outside enclosure has undergone a complete renovation. The old tent-like structure is gone, and the roof is now all one height, giving the gibbons a lot more space high up where they love to be. And there are plenty of hoses and long drop-downs for them to swing around. Today the pair are going to try it out for the very first time.
Both the boys are really young, they're full of energy, they're always on the go, and what we really want to do is try and stimulate a lot of the really strong acrobatics that you would see with gibbons in their natural environment. They will travel huge leaps, they will just get really, really quick. So what we've done is we've tried to make it really spacious, we've got the hosing quite far apart, and we've also put in some of these amazing drop downs. They actually go right from the roof all the way down to the floor, and that's like an 8-metre drop. So we're really hoping that the guys will show off some of their natural acrobatics skills and have a great time.
And the boys don't disappoint, bounding out of the tunnel and heading up high. Zach, a year older than Tio, is a more dominant and confident individual. He immediately starts to explore his new surroundings, testing out the hoses and the new roof. Tio, on the other hand, is a bit more cautious. The new enclosure is a little more daunting for him, but he grew up in a huge tree-filled enclosure with his parents, Peanut and Peng Yo, and his confidence soon returns as he starts to travel around the outside area. It's a promising start by both gibbons. And they've worked out the hanging feeders, with Tio grabbing a slice of apple.
Gradually they've started to actually explore some of the new furniture. They're a little bit slow and tentative at the moment, as they're obviously finding their hands and where they can actually fly around. But you can gradually see them starting to get a lot more relaxed and comfortable with it. So I think they're going to have a lot of fun over the next few days.
Zach and Tio aren't the only new pairing loving life together. Kat is delighted with reports from France that Mikado and Tia Nang are getting on like a house on fire. It's been 5 months since she escorted them across the channel. In that time, their new home has been finished, and the couple love spending time together outside in their island enclosure.
It makes me really happy. Obviously, whenever we have these guys here, we spend our lives with them every single day. So knowing that they're going to go off and somebody else is responsible for their care and you can't really do very much about that, it is a worry and it is upsetting sometimes to think that, you know, you're leaving them behind. But the circumstances out there are really ideal for the two of them. And so it is nice to get the feedback and see that they're doing well. And, you know, they both look incredible, healthy, and I'm really happy. So that obviously brings us joy as well.
There's no sign of the new couple becoming parents just yet, but they are forming a strong relationship. And all the signs are good that it will be successful and long-lasting. In any animal society made up of large social groups, arguments are not uncommon. They can lead to ill-tempered scuffles, and the occasional accident. The park's chimps frequently demonstrate this noisy behaviour. Having a good leader like Hananya helps keep things under control. But it's inevitable that in a group with 4 males, a low ranker like Arthur gets caught up in the melee. A recent squabble resulted in him sustaining a small cut to his back. Chimps are not the most hygienic of animals, and unfortunately, the wound quickly became infected and a large abscess developed. The vet was called in to drain the abscess under anaesthetic. But this left a rather large area which needs to be kept clean to help it heal. Not the easiest task when it comes to chimps.
Their natural instinct is to pick a wound. They all will home in on him and they all want to be a part of that and groom that. It's just something that chimpanzees like to do. But obviously chimps aren't the cleanest animals. They are a little bit grubbier than some animals. And obviously they're walking outside on their knuckles, they're using their hands, walking outside in the dirt. And then obviously that's going straight into the wounds as well. So it can be difficult.
This is where the team's dedication and skill come into play. Lisa has prepared a saline solution to clean Arthur's wound.
Calm yourself down, please. Arthur!
Using clicker training, Arthur has been taught to present his back to the staff for treatment.
All the way. Turn around. Turn around.
The training allows Lisa to apply the saline via a syringe. It should flush out any dirt and bacteria from the wound, keeping it nice and clean. Hopefully, this process will allow it to heal properly.
Good boy. Having a wound like this on Arthur really shows how important it is that we keep up with our training with the chimps, particularly when it comes to things like topical treatments of wounds. If we didn't have a good relationship with Arthur, if he wasn't good with his training, if we didn't keep up with his training and didn't desensitise him to things like topicals, like having saline put onto his skin, we wouldn't be able to treat it, and that basically leaves it open for that to then get infected again. We wouldn't be able to treat it as well. Turn around.
Lisa is flushing Arthur's wound twice a day. Keeping it wet will allow it to heal slowly rather than scabbing over quickly and risking another infection.
The wound looks great now. That may sound a little bit weird because it's not particularly nice to look at, but it's all really nice, clean tissue. You can see lots of granulated tissue there. We can see the new tissue starting to grow. It's a nice, healthy pink colour, and that's what we're looking for. It's reducing in size every day. The more it heals, the better he is with it. So I think at the moment, the only sign really that shows us that he knows he's still got the wound is he pulls any wood wool or anything that gets stuck to his back off. But other than that, he's very happy at the moment again.
The team will probably have to continue caring for Arthur's wound for a little while longer. But the treatment looks like it's working, and he should completely recover. In the meantime, it hasn't put him off his stride, something his little playmate Thelma is grateful for. The team constantly evaluate the quality of life of all the primates in their care. It's not simply about their health and diets, but also involves their relationships with the other animals sharing their lives. Sometimes it becomes clear a move to another group might be for the best. In the past few weeks, there's been lots of comings and goings at the orangutans. Roro has recently joined the gang at the Orang Nursery, where she's met the 4 youngsters: Jin, Sylvester, Bulumata and Rika. While Roro made herself at home in the nursery, young Awan and adopted mum Hsiao-Quai headed in the opposite direction. They joined male Tuan and his 2 females, Armei and Lucky. Introducing fully grown adult males to youngsters can be tricky, but this time the team didn't need to worry. Tuan seems to be quite taken with little Awan, and the feeling is mutual. The pair are spending hours playing together. Tuan is a lot larger, with massive hands, but that hasn't fazed Awan. At 5 years of age, she's a happy, confident and independent little orang. But like all youngsters, she does occasionally look to Mum for a reassuring hug. The move appears to have given Tuan something of a new lease of life. He's thought to be more than 30 years old and isn't the most active animal at the best of times. But Awan is definitely keeping him on his toes. It seems the move has been good for everyone. And it's certainly brought out the orang's playful side. It's been a week since Paddy, one of the park's most iconic figures, passed away. He died in his sleep of natural causes, and since then, the group have been trying to come to terms with the loss of their alpha male.
Everything's quieter, everything's a little more circumspect, and they're not quite as lively as they used to be a week ago. So, yeah, there's definitely an effect from Paddy going, and I would say they're experiencing a form of loss and upset emotionally by losing their leader, but the group is so important. I guess that's what's most important for the chimpanzees and is the basis of everything we do here at the park, is their group, is everything. And now what they have, even with Paddy going, is each other.
One individual who seems to have taken the loss hard is Bixer, the oldest chimp in the park, who's just about to turn 40. She's one of the more dominant females and was a firm favourite with Paddy. But since his death, she's been extremely quiet, spending a lot of time on her own. The group has no natural successor to fill Paddy's shoes. His son Bart, at 10 years of age, is too young and still to develop into a fully grown, imposing male chimpanzee. Having grown up amongst all these females, who are effectively his aunts, they might find it hard to accept him as their alpha male. That leaves just 3 other boys, 2 of which are part of the original group of 9 that arrived at the park with Paddy in 1987. Buster, who is now 37 years old, and Mickey, slightly younger at 35. And finally, 26-year-old Gamba. All 3 were a great support and backup to Paddy, but have never shown any real inclination to become leader of the group. Fortunately, there are 2 sets of very strong females who can step up to the mark and hold things together for the time being. Cindy, Beth and Zoe, who came to the park with Paddy 30 years ago, and Clin, Grisby and Kathy, who arrived just 3 years later. Whatever happens, it's a problem that will need solving.
It's left a huge hole in this group, and with far-reaching implications for the old and young alike. Is there somebody that can fill Paddy's shoes? I don't know. So we're gonna have to sit and think long and hard about whether or not there's a good individual to take over this group. I think actually the ladies, I got Cindy down here looking at me right now. Cindy and all of the other ladies would actually really appreciate, I think, a new, beautiful, dominant male. But that comes with all sorts of risks and considerations, not only for the ladies, for the new dominant male, but also for Bart, and whether Bart will accept a new male in his life and whether a new male would accept Bart even being there. It's a big decision. Paddy's left a big hole.
With no obvious leader to fill that gap, the answer may lie in the bachelor's group next door. Whatever their future, only time will tell where Paddy's group goes from here.